What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And man, am I a little frustrated to have to report this. For those of you who are unaware, there's a video game by the name of Hatred. And this game features a main character who has decided that the world has to pay for all of their evil ways or whatever, and decides to go on a rampage in which he does basically indiscriminate killing of pets and animals and men and children and cats and dogs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I made a video about this game when it premiered a couple of months back, when the trailer went viral. I talked about the fact that it didn't seem like the kind of game that I would ever want to play personally, but that I felt that this game was important, and that I felt that the freedom of speech that protects a game like this is absurdly important. Well, today we've seen that freedom of speech being stomped on by the folks at Valve who produce the PC gaming distribution system known as Steam. And Steam is really important for indie developers or even AAA developers as a distribution system for their video games. If you get pulled off of Steam, or if you're not able to get onto Steam, chances of you selling your game is next to zero. So to see these guys get their game pulled off of Steam means basically they're going to generate a fraction of the sales that they would have originally generated. Now, people who hate this game are going to say something along the lines of, this is a video game that's ultra-violent, and it doesn't belong on a distribution system like Steam, and that's why they chose to pull it. Except, let's remember that Postal 1 and Postal 2 are still on Steam, and we're just about to release Grand Theft Auto 5 on Steam, and let's remind you that one of the characters, Trevor, is a certifiable psycho in that game. He does things that are just as bad as anything Hatred could have possibly produced, so it's a bit of a double standard. You might be thinking that Steam is just caving to popular opinion, but that's not the case either here, because it was up on Steam Greenlight today for just over 6 hours, and in those 6 hours it reached number 7 on the Greenlight board, getting 13,000 votes to approve it with only 1,000 against it. That's a 93% approval rating, which is excellent for any game submitted to Steam Greenlight. So a spokesperson for Valve, Doug Lombardi, told the guys who were making the game that based on what we've seen on Greenlight, we would not publish Hatred on Steam. As such, we will be taking it down. And that is just balls out censorship. Now, let me interject my personal opinion here real quick. I don't like Hatred. I don't like the premise of the game, and I had no intention of ever playing it. But I think removing it from Steam is absolutely absurd. There are a group of people out there who think that violent video games make people violent, even though there are studies and insurmountable evidence that prove otherwise. In fact, the exact opposite is true. But they hold on to this myth, they hold on to this idea as some sort of oppressive tool to try to remove video games from the marketplace. And we've seen this with them removing Grand Theft Auto 5 from the marketplace, and now Hatred is removed on a global scale. It's disgraceful that the people who believe that stuff have peer-pressured Steam into removing this game, or even worse, that there are people at Steam who are stupid enough to believe that line of bullshit. Now, at the end of the day, Steam determines what they are going to distribute and sell, and it's up to them, and there's literally nothing we can do about it. Steam makes that decision, and that's their right, and there's nothing we can do to infringe upon it, even if I wanted to. It's just crazy disappointing that Steam did not choose to stand up for freedom of speech here, because they know this game is controversial, they know a lot of people love to hate on it, and they're afraid to publish it, they don't want to be connected to it in any way. And that's frustrating, because libraries all across America cover violent books and carry controversial books like Lolita or Stephen King's Rage, which is about a school shooting, by the way, or Netflix is brave enough to carry a movie like The Human Centipede 2, which is disgustingly ultra-violent, and YouTube is willing to go to bat and into court in order to defend people's right to freedom of expression with absurdly violent and disgusting and over-sexualized videos in some cases. And we need that in video games, because video games is a storytelling medium like any other. And for some reason, when it comes to bloggers and the media and old people, they're confused about what they mean and what they are. But I can tell you what they are. They're a expression medium, they're a storytelling medium that is just like any other in history, and the right to express yourself through a video game is one that absolutely needs protection. and I wish that Steam had chosen to protect it here. What pisses me off even more is that we have seen Steam allow unfinished game, bloatware, vaporware bullshit push through the Greenlight system and say, we don't curate our games, we don't police that kind of thing. But when it comes to violence, oh, you bet they'll police that. Oh, jeez, man. I'm sorry for the rant. I probably should have pulled out my Francis character for this, but the truth of the matter is this kind of thing is really frustrating for me because I've been fighting this battle now for a whole lifetime, trying to make sure that developers and publishers for video games have the same rights as everyone else. And it echoes in the back of my mind what a high-ranking official at a particular video game company told me earlier in the year. We just want to be able to publish the types of stories that we want to tell without being held to some sort of imaginary double standard that movies and books and music and no one else is held to. And I can't blame them. And this is a step in the wrong direction, and it just plain upsets me. Well, what can you do? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We'll get there. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you. I'll speak with you soon.